you guys, I want to thank you guys for coming on the Downloaded Content podcast. We have Joy. Do you want to say your full name or just Autism Mom Joy?
So yeah, I mostly go by Autism Mom Joy is what I'm known for. I built my platform on Instagram that's now at like 20, it was at like 20 something thousand, but I had to get rid of the bots. So I think I'm at like 16, 17.
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to call you Joy for the sake of the podcast. Sound like a plan?
Sounds
All right.
good.
And Joy, this is Mona. I'm putting
Nice to
down here
meet
like
you.
you can see them in the boxes like the Brady Bunch. Everybody knows Law because Law is the lightning rod around here, who's gotten something started that I think is really, really cool. And of course, we have Bobby Worthy. Bobby Worthy, you're from Justice League United. Bobby?
Oh, I heard somebody
Can you
talking.
hear me?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Nah, you're good. Yeah. So you're from Justice League United, right?
Yes, I'm the National Judge Advocate General for the Justice League United organization. I started some years ago when I was been with the NAACP for a long time dealing with them. A couple of years ago, I ran for the Georgia State Conference president. Well, last year, I ran for the Georgia State Conference president for the NAACP. I lost. I plan on running again, but so I started my organization based on all these other organizations that have rules, principles, and procedures before they can act on injustice. I got about 35,000 members nationwide, all over. And all I require as memberships in my organization is that you attack injustice. If you really think attacking injustice is slapping the hell out of the police, then I'll back you. I don't believe in rules and regulations because the police got rules, regulations, and laws, and they still violate. So, that's it. Our organization is built on government accountability.
All right. And the reason you're here is because Law here, he's the guy that everybody's talking about around in Houston County, Georgia here, who basically put on show what Operation Rolling Thunder was really about. And so we want to thank him for bringing everybody together. But, the last episode that we did, I think it's almost at like 2,000 views locally. So word is getting out about what our subject matter was, Law, which is trying to crack open the illusion that there is not some systemic problems in not just, law enforcement around here, but in the system itself, that it's just a systemic problem that transcends just one department or one entity. And as a result of that episode, and your work and what you're trying to do, which is not just bring accountability, bring accountability in more than just an I'm sorry. And I appreciate that. But I want to, and Mona knows because yesterday, she's with me all the time. And yesterday, as a result of what you have done, I had a conversation with 3 different people. Joy was one of them. And I'm going to skip over her story because I want her to have most of the time to tell her story. But I talked to an 84-year-old gentleman from the melanated community out of, is it Fort Valley, Law?
Yes, Fort Valley.
And I spent maybe 20, 30 minutes on the phone with him getting his horror story, where unfortunately there was no dash cam footage or anybody there to record. And we're going to be doing an interview with him one-on-one, but it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And his son, who I guess is his caregiver, he was on speakerphone with me and he goes, Mr. Daniel, my daddy hadn't been the same since this happened. And the other gentleman that I spoke to is he's 61, never been arrested, never had any police contacts. He's a veteran. He spent 38 years in the post office, and he had a very similar incident with the same officer. Mm-hmm. And the common theme that I heard from him was the same. He's like, Mr. Daniel, I don't know why people call me Mr. Daniel or sir. Don't do that. That's my dad. But he said the same thing. He said, since this happened, I haven't been sleeping. I can't sleep. And I think that me having legal abuse syndrome, I think all of us probably here do. That was the thing, is the trauma that was induced by contact from somebody from the state. Now, obviously, I'm going to get to those 2 gentlemen in time, but Joy reached out to me as a result of your work, Law. So, see, everything happens for a reason. Joy reached out to me and sent me a couple of YouTube links, which will be in the show descriptions. And so I really wanted to have her on so that she could tell her story to the same audience, and get the feedback of you and Bobby. So Joy, if you could, I'm going to go ahead and mute out, and if you don't see my thing blinking, that means I'm muted. But Joy, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor, and you take as much time as you need. If we go over an hour at 7 or 8:21, we can take a break, record as long as we need to. But I'm going to let you take the floor, Joy. Tell everybody, what you're doing, where they can find you, all that good stuff, and then walk us through and tell us why you're here and why you reached out to me.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having us. So I may have a little bit of interruption. I've got a autistic nonverbal who's becoming verbal son in the background. But for starters, I started the program Project BAM. It has not been put out yet to the public, but Project BAM, the purpose is going to be to promote mental health and autism training. That's the main focus. But Project BAM, the meaning is a better approach to autism and mental health. So what I'm working on right now is collaborating with the local PD, the first responders, the fire department, the ambulance drivers, and then also the educators through Houston County Public Schools, Bibb County Public Schools, and a few different couple of places throughout of Atlanta. Right now, I'm focusing, of course, where we live, but if I don't get the feedback that I'm hoping to get, I am perfectly fine with doing it through other organizations in different counties. What started this, the reason behind all of this, comes from a few different things. One word, injustice, another word, corruption, and you have so many people out here that are dealing with issues, but they are not speaking out. So after the horrific experiences that my family has encountered, which ranges from me having a car accident and being hit by a cement truck in Bibb County, pretty much had to learn to re-walk again, punctured lung, um, elbow, scars everywhere, wrist surgery, spine surgery twice. And all I got out of the deal was barely no money, and told to either testify against a guy that had nothing to do with it or walk away with nothing, or to continue to fight in court knowing that they were eventually going to throw the whole case out and I wouldn't get a dime anyway. All to save fate for somebody within, when I say they, their orchestration of who they know, relationships, who calls who, and who says, oh, do away with this footage because I know this will get this person off. Whereas if it had been one of their own people, or if it had been somebody else, oh man, they would have put them under the jail, under the bus. So it starts with things that I've already gone through as an individual, suffering with my own PTSD from traumatic experiences, witnessing murders as a child, just so many things that have taken place just with me as an individual, as an African American woman, not getting justice when it came down to hospital treatment care with my pregnancy, being turned down because they blame everything on mental. Saying, hey, I think I'm in labor, getting sent home only to lose a baby because the hospital in Bibb County says that, oh, she's just an anxious mom. It's just her anxiety. It's just in her head. So bringing awareness to mental health, bringing awareness to all those things started within myself. But what started with the police and the horrific events with the police is that my companion and my autistic son, they went out for a ride and they were encountered by Mark Daniel Heberleg, which is the officer's name. They were encountered by him, and he just simply, to make it long story short, he did not want to tell the purpose of the stop. He refused to tell why he was being pulled over. And despite my companion calling me saying, hey, I'm being snatched out of the car, this is taking place, this officer just downright did not care. We're telling him, hey, we got an autistic child in the car. He's telling him, hey, this is my situation. It absolutely did not care. It didn't matter. And the whole purpose of the stop was a tail light. So it's really it's foolish to even think that he went to jail over a tail light, but he's stating that he obstructed an officer because he didn't want to give him the license. He didn't want to do this, but he had the license. So that this is where our argument came into play. Once he was given the license, he had everything that he needed to handle his traffic stop. There was no obstruction. You have the license. You've now told him the purpose of the stop. What was the need to call backup officers to the scene? This was over. Tell him that you could not see his tail lights or whatever you thought it was. He clearly told you he purchased a vehicle like this. There was a film covering over the light. Look at it yourself. You can see it. Make matters worse, he was 60 seconds away from home. So you could have literally made a left turn and been right there at his house. So there was no reason to say, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. Throughout this whole situation, he calls the backup officer. They come out and he never told them the reason for the stop. So you call these officers out here being hostile, y'all snatching him out of the car. He's seen telling them, hey, I got a nonverbal autistic child in the car. His mom is on the way, which is me. And he's like, I got to keep my eye on my son. And if you don't know much about autism, it ranges. You have some of the children who are nonverbal in wheelchairs, who can't walk, can't talk, can't feed themselves. Then you have another end of the spectrum where they can function just like you or I, but they may struggle with simple tasks like, remembering things, or they may have issues with like anger or behavioral challenges. But there's a certain part of the spectrum where the children elope, they will run off. They will run away from you. Even if they've been holding your hand all day, they will take off running, which is what he feared would happen if he left our son in the car. He may just get out and take off running. And then what are y'all going to do? Shoot at him? Or by then run after him out in the middle of the road after he's already hit by oncoming traffic, which is the same thing, sadly enough, that happened to the other family. This same officer had pulled over on Highway 75. If you go back and pull up the name Mark Daniel Heberleg, you'll see on Google back in, I want to say it was 2021. Don't quote me on that. But if you type his name, you'll see an article. And it talks about this same officer with his poor policing. He wants to demand you out of your car. Don't want to tell you why he's stopping you. This woman happened to have like a couple of her kids with her. He made her get out of the car. And according to the news article, they all got hit. The officer, the woman, and the kids. And I most recently, about a month ago, talked to the grandmother because she spoke out on our video on YouTube, which got over 200,000 views on YouTube. She spoke out and was like, yeah, this was my grandchild that was affected. And she ended up telling me about a month ago that child is now on a feeding tube. So the child's disability just got worse and worse, and those kids were fine. So there's no accountability. This same officer has been doing this time and time again. And back to our situation, the same officer who harassed my companion in this traffic stop in 2022 harassed him and his ex-partner in 2019. So in the video, you'll see the confusion where he's questioning me about whether I was his wife or who I was. It's because he's harassed my partner before with a woman that he used to date years ago, back in 2019. And it's just sick. It's sick. It's a very sick thing because when you've been harassed by somebody one time and they've treated you poorly, but then you encounter them again, it's like, okay, well, what you really got going on? Like you've done this before. Now you're doing this again. I can't trust you. He's already a disabled vet. He deals with his own PTSD as it is. So you doing this has now created a new trigger. I don't think he's even been anywhere with my son alone since this, in a car, if I'm not mistaken. And if he did, it probably was once or twice. All day, every day is cop conversations. All day, every day is how aggravated this has made him. Is waking up out of your sleep, stressed out, jumping up out of your sleep, thinking something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
No, you're good. You're good. And what's crazy is I spoke to him yesterday on the phone, and I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder also, so I know what he's going through. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You guys let me know when you can see it. I'm going to
So
try
I
to
think I
share my.
heard Nona say she couldn't believe, and then it booted off.
What I was saying is I can believe it, but I can't believe that a child is on a feeding tube all because of a cop's ego. I saw the article you were referring to earlier, and
Yeah. I've been in contact with that family. They're not the grandmother is who I've been in contact with. The daughter, it was her child, and I think that because she was younger, I think she's just not comfortable speaking out about it. But we highlighted it in our lawsuit because we've been trying to bring awareness to this cop for the longest. This guy has had numerous complaints. When I tell you guys, when I started speaking out about it, so many people have reached out to us through YouTube, Instagram about this same officer. And when I made the petition, they're all over the petition saying, hey, yeah, we remember him. You
What
know,
department is he with?
he's with the
County
Houston
Sheriff.
County Sheriff Department. But see,
Okay,
what they do is promote him. They promote him or they take him off the streets. And what makes us so angry about our traffic stop is he talked all this smack about the tail lights, but he let our neighbor leave in the car. So if the car was such a problem and it was such a violation, why would you let somebody else drive it home versus getting it towed or saying, oh no, you just can't drive it?
right.
It's just a sick thing. And then he says in the video that my companion was resisting and pulling away, but then he said in the back seat of the car that he lost his grip because of the slippery lotion that he had on. So which one is it? Was he resisting you, or was it that his arms were slippery from the lotion? It was all over the place with this case to where it was never supposed to be a case in the first place. And what makes it more crazy, who has to go to court or to trial for a tail light? It's a tail light. So it's just something so small got blown up so crazy just because of this guy's ego, when he could have simply said, hey, I can't really see the lights. What's going on? And even if it was an issue with the lights, give him a warning and keep it moving. He was 60 seconds from his house.
Yeah. Now
So
Are you going to play the video?
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, Joy, before I do play this video, and don't give any information private that DJ doesn't want out. But what conditions can you speak of that he lives with?
So heart irregularities with irregular heartbeats. Cancer center patient can't really be in the sun too much at all. And then he's immunocompromised. So that was the biggest thing. He's immunocompromised. He was born with an immunocompromising problem. So during that time, that was when the V word came out. Everybody had to wear masks, and I'm saying the V word because I don't want you to put this online and they ban it. Okay.
Yeah, they make us censor ourselves.
So when the V word came out, it was a big thing. Like our household couldn't get sick because I suffer with lupus. So I had been in and out of the hospital. As you know, I told you guys earlier, I broke my back in the cement truck wreck. Okay. Fast forward with our situation within the household, we're trying to keep everybody safe. So with the traffic stop, he was simply asking him to back up some away from him and our son because he's a cancer center patient due to his white blood count. He did not want to get sick with that CV word because if he gets that, it could be fatal. Yeah. So not only did he give any respect to the fact he wasn't wearing a mask, as you can see in the videos, he put a mask on and he put a mask over my son's face to protect them because of this situation. But this officer wasn't trying to care about any of that. And that's what makes it so bad, because it was never supposed to escalate to this. To make matters worse, you're in a convertible vehicle. It's not like you can't see what's going on in there. So it was just blown way out of proportion over a tail light. And when I tell you, it has taken a toll on this family and the lawsuits, we have put in some work. We had the librarian type everything for us and everything, but it was just so much stress. And I finally was just like, you know what? We got to do something different. And when he put this video out and it got 200 plus thousand views, it was just major. And I was just like, man, I'm so glad that our voices are being heard. And, I started the petition. The petition is getting attention, and I'm now working on the nonprofit side because I really want to build a community despite my disabilities. I can't be out here in the community much, but I can advocate and I can do so many things online, and I can really bring people together, helping to advocate and really putting some of the money where it needs to go, because there are so many families that they can't pay their power bill because they've lost their jobs, whether it's because of their businesses being humiliated by lies, whether they've been arrested wrongfully or whatever the case may be. You have these autism families. A majority of those people have felony convictions, because what's happening is if a autistic person or a bipolar person, say for instance, they have a meltdown, in which I'm going to highlight that the difference between a tantrum and a meltdown with bipolar disorder and autism. With a tantrum, your child gets mad, they throw their toys down, or they get upset in the store because you don't want to buy them a Barbie doll. But once you give them that Barbie doll, they stop the tantrum, they stop crying, they calm down. But with autism and bipolar disorder, once they start having a meltdown, their brain is no longer processing the information that's going on. So you have to get the child or the adult to a safe space for everybody, whether you have a safety restraint or whether you have like a calming mechanism or whatever it is that you do with your child. You have that safe space to put them, and then you have the tools that are needed to keep them calm. Some of those things may include like sensory toys, headphones if it's too loud, taking them to a area that's not as bright so that maybe if the lights are causing them to act out, whatever the case may be. But if it's a meltdown, you are not going to really be able to stop them from the erratic behaviors. And a lot of times it can be aggressive. They can start to headbang. They can slap themselves across the head, so many things, because in that moment, they're overwhelmed, they're overstimulated, and their five senses are just out of the roof, just screwed up. So
And I can
whether
only
they
imagine
taste
during
it,
a traffic stop.
yeah. And so if you experience that, what's happening now with Warner Robins that I don't like is you have a lot of autistic children and adults with felonies because the parents are calling the cops, or these teachers at the school or people out in the community. The child takes something, they break it, or they throw something up against the wall. There's a hole in the wall because the child or the adult threw a meltdown. Okay. When you call the cops, they are not properly trained on how to handle. Number one, half of them don't even know how to handle stops or calls for people without disabilities. So when you have them coming out to calls for intellectual disabilities of any form, all they know is to arrest them, try to restrain them, or God forbid they shoot them and then pow them, I'm sorry. And then now what?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem lies that we don't have the training, they don't have the tools that are needed, and not all of them are going to be on board with it anyway, because some of them have an ego issue. You can't teach character, integrity, and common courtesy. That has to already be there. But if you want to work for those people that say, hey, I really don't understand bipolar disorder, I really don't understand autism, help me understand how to better help the situation, then we may be able to get somewhere. But the problem I have is, as a disability advocate, is that they are giving these people conviction felonies, age 18, with autism. They bust a hole in their parents' wall. One little issue, the neighbors call the cops. They come out there and they're like, oh, we're going to lock them up. Now you've given them a record. So even if it is a child or young adult who has the potential to develop into more language, or a lot of the kids, they can work, and they even if they can't do anything but bag groceries, they eventually can work in society, and you can teach them to do things, but you got to give them something to work with. And that's my issue as an advocate. I feel like they're working against what we're trying to do as a community to help the children and adults with mental illness. It is working against everything that the activists are trying to do. How can I be out here advocating for mental health and to promote people to hire them like at grocery stores and to encourage them to help our youth when all the cops are doing is locking them up, giving them a record?
Right.
Now they can't live anywhere. They can't get a job because by the time they're 20, they already got so many misdemeanors and felonies because all the cops know how to do is arrest them. And another problem, the parents. I'm going to go at some of them. They're not taking the accountability as the parents to say, hey, there is an issue with my child. Let me get them the intervention that they need instead of letting them watch TV all day or leaving them to fend for themselves, knowing that this child has a disability. Now they grow up, they get older, and all they know is to act out in rage. They don't know how to conduct themselves because you've never once taken them anywhere to do it. So it goes hand in hand. And with the parents, 911 is not the place to call to get help for your child with intellectual disability.
No.
When you call 911, it needs to be for an emergency. It is not the place to call. And so you just have a lot. It's so many factors. And like I say, I've been advocating. I've been trying to provide resources, grants, anything I can, like with my social media. we've got a big community on Instagram where we all just kind of connect. Like if you're in Texas, I had a meeting with somebody from India 2 days ago, and she's giving me all the resources. So anybody that I know that lives in India, I can tell you exactly what to do, how to get help. And that same thing goes for like Texas or for Hawaii or just different places. We've all tried to come together so that way, if I meet somebody that's from one of these places or they DM me or whatever, I have a resource guide that I can give these families and say, hey, this is how you get early intervention. These are the holistic providers I would recommend. These are the natural doctors, or either these are pharmaceutical providers, ABA therapy, physical therapy, OT, PT, whatever it is. Here's a resource guide. If you need help paying your rent, here's a resource guide. And these are some of the organizations that can help you. The problem is with these cops, they don't give us a chance to even to do anything because they're just arresting them. So it's such an unfortunate thing, and it's gonna be a long road. And I've struggled time and time again to say, man, is this something I really want to do? You know, you have those doubts, but I feel like so many people are counting on me in the disability community to really advocate and to really bring together some resources to help them. I don't want to just give it up this far in the game, but you know, we all have those days, but we definitely are in need of some help with regards to, first of all, if you got an ego problem, quit your job. Just quit your job, period. And if you are willing to be understanding to just people's situations, you got to have some common courtesy and empathy. Don't be out here pulling people over and not having the common courtesy to know this person may not be obstructing. They may not be trying to fight against you. They could simply just not be in the right headspace to deal with a cop. And I think they forget that we're all human. We all go through things. This person might have just had death in their family. They don't want to talk to you. Why are you even pulling them over? Tell them why you're pulling them over. Give them their ticket and get the heck on. Nobody wants to prolong conversation. And like Mark Heberleg, he wants to have a conversation every time he pulls somebody over. Like he's telling my companion, just leave your phone and come have a conversation. What we're talking about. And why would I leave my phone, which violates my amendment?
Joy, Sabrina just came in, so it's a real good time to segue to it real quick because you're just about to take my show over, and that's okay because you're on a roll.
Well,
okay.
I wanted to say, I know you have a lot going on, different, you got a lot of plate spinning, but besides, you know, the justice for the pullover, I would love to work with you on a lot of that you're referring to about getting the local police enforcement the proper education to deal with children like this. So that's something, you know, I would be glad to work with you on that.
And
Has Sabrina seen the video?
And real quick, because I'm going to show, you guys can see my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Because I want Bobby to take a look at this. If I'm not mistaken, the clip that I'm about to show you guys, is this the father of your nonverbal?
Yes.
It is, okay. And this is Sheriff Deputy who?
Heberleg.
Heberleg, okay.
Spell that last name. He needs his name out there. That's Mark what?
Look in the chat. I sent you I put the
I'm gonna spell his name out. Where is his name?
HEB. Let me see. I might have to put it back in there. HEBRLIG.
Yes.
All right,
Mark
cool.
Heberleg.
Cool. So I want to go ahead and play this. I'm going to play this so we can kind of see what the context of it is, just a little bit here, and tell me if this is the right clip where Deputy whoever has been informed that there's a nonverbal autistic kid in the back seat of this car, and this happens. Let's see. Jesus Christ. All right. So let me back that up just a little bit more so you guys can see that again. And what and is Deputy Heberleg saying that he did this because there was lotion on his hand?
So he admitted in the back, once he got him in the back seat of the police car, he admitted to them on the ride that'll be seen on the body cam. He admitted to him in the back seat that, hey man, what kind of lotion you have on? Because I lost my grip. And on the police report, he put that he lost his grip But if in the video, the main video, you'll hear the other corporal saying, "Stop resisting," but he's standing still.
Yeah,
And
I saw
then
that.
and then Heber Leg is like, "You're gonna listen and this and that," but he's slamming him down. But then he later says he lost his grip. He's
All right.
saying you were pulling away, but he was never moving. He was standing still. So
All right, so let's set it up. Pulls over for a tail light.
That wasn't even out.
Get out of the car. Get out of the car. We want to have a conversation. And then, and if I'm not mistaken, DJ's a veteran. Is that right?
yes, that's correct.
So this is how a veteran is also treated for a tail light.
Mind you, he's been harassed by this Mark Heberlig before.
Yeah, allegedly. I mean. Wow. Man. All right, now, before we get too much further into this, Bobby,
Yeah.
go ahead, man. Tell me what you think about this story and what you just saw, and I'm very eager to hear your thoughts.
Well, first of all, let's get some things clear. A lot of people don't understand about traffic stops. If an officer tell you to get out, you have to comply with his orders. Normally, they don't tell you not to get out for a tail light. They just being assholes. But that's not normally in a routine traffic stop. Their way to address it is says for their safety or his safety. The best thing to do at a traffic stop is to comply, file a complaint later, because you can't beat them on the side of the road. It's just not going to happen. But yes, he was dead wrong. But I just wanted to get that out there. But there are certain things you can do on officers. You can take warrants out on police officers. Citizens can file warrant applications under title. Oh man, Lord, I did. I forgot what the code was. This is the first time I had a brain freeze. But there's a code that you can. I do it all the time. Take warrants, fill out a warrant application on a police officer. They are not exempt from the law, even taking warrants out on judges. And that's the main thing people don't know is how to file the proper complaints. And then I heard you mention about petitions, and I do classes on petitions. What was your petition an online petition?
The first thing that we did was the lawsuit through the courts against the county, and then later on I did the petition, which was a little separate from that because I did two petitions. One petition is to reprimand the officer to get him terminated because all the complaints that we ever filed, they've ignored for years. They've ignored, and this cop has now caused issues with numerous families. The second petition that I did was for my actual nonprofit, and that was just to mandate the mental health training for the first responders and educators.
Right.
So there's a few different things that were going on, but with regards to the main focus with regards to that specific traffic stop is to get something done about this officer. He cannot continue to work on the force any longer. Like, it is to the point where children have been harmed. Multiple families have spoken out. Our family has been harassed not once, but twice. So clearly there's a problem with this person's ego, his character, and somebody's going to be out of here if they don't get him off the force. And that's my concern, because somebody is already permanently disabled because of this same guy. So I don't know at what point do they feel like, okay, we're going to go ahead and terminate him. I spoke with the GBI. They were saying that they couldn't do anything unless the police terminated him. I mean, we've been fighting with this for a long time, and in court, had a strong fight in court, going back and forth, but they just keep trying to give them immunity. Right. They keep deeming immunity on every single thing.
Immunity, let me tell you about it. Immunity is waived when an officer's going. Immunity, any public official, sovereign immunity, 11th Amendment immunity is automatically waived when he initiate anything against you. It's always, and we just don't know how to get around it. But to make your petitions more powerful, this is what people, when I ask you about online petition, a petition must be treated just like registered voters. There have to be people in Houston County that vote. Nobody from another county over can sign their petition. It would invalidate the petition. And that's where we go wrong with a lot of petitions. We let everybody from New York and all that, that doesn't work. It have to be treated just like a registered voter. If you can't vote, you don't vote, or you convicted felon, you all can't vote, then you cannot sign this petition. You would invalidate it.
And that's been my biggest issue. I have gotten a lot of support globally.
Okay.
Globally and all over the world, they standing right there with me. But right here in the county, it's like they're scared to sign stuff. Even my own family, they be like, you send them something, a couple of family members might sign something, but the rest of them, they just kind of, I don't think I want to put my name on this or that. And it's just one of those things. So I fully get what you're saying, though. I really got that makes sense.
Listen, what they'll do is they'll get your petition and they'll go through it. And because I've seen one had 10,000 signatures. I've seen one with 100,000 end up with 5,000 signatures because it was people from other where that wasn't even registered voters, couldn't vote for some reason. But the next thing you need to do is file a criminal warrant application against the officer. He's not above for that.
Okay.
You have a police
report.
Okay. I'm working on some stuff now. They're going to ask you for a police report, make a long story short. So you got a police report, then you can go pay $20 and secure a warrant application for his arrest and have a hearing and have all your witnesses there.
Okay.
And you can take it to the next level. You can then file, and if you're having a problem with Hostin County themselves, then you can go above their head and file a color of law complaint. Color of law complaint is filed with the FBI, not the Department of Justice, the FBI. People try to file them with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice gets so many letters, they send out computer-generated letters, but the FBI is the investigating arm of the Department of Justice. When you go directly,
I did file with them.
You filed what?
I filed a complaint against the officer about this color of law thing. Maybe I didn't file it right, but I did file something with the FBI. It was just like online, like a little. Yeah. So that was probably
when
wrong.
You file a color of law complaint. If you want attention, you go to the FBI with the press to follow you and file a color of law complaint. So the law is, if you look up color of law, all color of law complaints must be investigated by the FBI. There is no ands, ifs, us about it. They must investigate all color of law complaints. So this is where you can go at the whole county and a whole.
Now, Bobby, real quick.
The whole department, the whole county. And then again,
Bobby,
if you got a lawsuit.
Real quick, Bobby. And just for like listeners, and I know Law, he's new to this world. He's just now getting into this. Explain color of law, what that is.
The color of law is when you use the law to violate the law, basically, in a layman's term. In color of law, under U.S. title, most people use U.S. Title 18, Section 241, conspiracy against rights. Conspiracy against rights is when one or two more people deny you a right that's secured by the Constitution. Is a federal offense that carries 10 years imprisonment. Ain't no ands us about it. And the 242 is the color of law, where they lose the law, like they use their jobs, their titles, and procedures to violate the law. So that definitely is a serious violation, but you just got to know how to file them right. Doing stuff online is okay. But see, when I file a color of law complaint, if you don't want to go to the FBI, then hire a certified court processor to serve them. That way you got proof they've been served. And if you reach out
How
to
much
me,
does that
I
cost?
can help you with all that. Let me show you how to do it.
We had to do that with the pro se case because, see, when we initially, like attorneys that we had involved and stuff like that, they were all, we ended up finding out they were all corrupt and they were all in tune with each other.
She had to find out the hard way.
So
that's why Bobby calls them liars.
I had to find out the hard way too, Joy. Don't worry.
Well, I mean,
I had to fire my attorney.
It ain't over. And this is what I've been doing this for 3 decades. I done got 2 judges removed off the bench and several lawyers on their way to prison. So
Oh,
Yeah.
you got 2 judges off the bench. That's what we
Yeah.
need.
They're not.
I'm
Hey,
coming to
we could
deal with them.
utilize you,
You got
Bobby.
Judicial Qualification Commission. They weak as hell. They ain't gonna do nothing. But it's a formality that they say, okay, I did this, or what you did to take care of this, and you did the right thing by filing a lawsuit on it. But see, one thing about these attorneys, they don't care. Attorneys are officers of the court. They are officers of the court. Upon their sworn affidavit, they can have somebody arrested. So why are they not doing that? Because it's not about justice.
Right.
It's about money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
And
So,
Sabrina can tell you that that's
I
the
will
truth.
tell
The bar.
people on this line, but I don't recommend you do this. But the law is clear. The law, and this is the new Black Panther Party coming out. The law is clear. The law says you have a right to resist any unlawful arrest.
Oh.
Any unlawful
But
arrest.
you'll get
You
tased,
can take
though.
the officer's life deadly if necessary. You can
Yes,
kill the
thank
police.
you.
And the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that on multiple cases.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that out loud. That is something that I have been screaming in all of my posts and everything that I've presented, because had I responded in the way I feel they had assumed I would respond, I was meant to be dead that day.
Yeah. Well, you can't beat them on the side of the road. That's what I tell people. But the law is
I
clear.
heard
Not
you
me.
say that.
Oh, they know I'll act a fool in a minute. If you put your hand on your gun, you may have to pull it. Believe that. And the police put his hand on his gun. If you got proof that he put his hand on the gun and y'all having some kind of vulgar conversation, that is an aggravated assault. They even
I'm going
put
to have
your
to look
hand
at
on a
those
weapon.
videos.
Right. All right. So we've been going at it in an hour. I said we take like a 10-minute break. Everybody go use the restroom, whatever you
Yeah,
got to
because I'm
do.
cooking in the background.
Oh, I hear you.
Look,
And-
Mr. Bobby now.
Uh-huh.
The other
go ahead and mark
day
the
on the
clip.
phone, he was playing around with me. I said, Mr. Bobby, I like you. He said, I like some white people. Let me just say this for the record. I am not white.
Hey, well, I'm half.
Daniel might
I'm
be.
half.
What?
I'm half.
I have my stepmom, she's black, so I have 3 half brothers. But my mom, she was actually an immigrant to the United States
they
at
asked me
15.
about what race. I got people in the store say, "Well, what race you are you?" I look at them, I say, "Human."
There you go. That's right. But yeah, I just wanted to say that for the record, though.
Every one of us are mutts on this spinning ball.
All right, let me go.
Can of sense is common sense.
Welcome to the CannaSense Total Wellness Collective. You're just a few simple clicks away from getting the cannabis products you want and have them delivered right to your home. So how does it work? Don't worry, it's easy. First, go to cannasense.com. Click the Join Now button. Next, fill out the sponsorship form. If you don't have a sponsor, just type CannaSense in the field. Next, submit the form and wait for your welcome email. Once you receive your welcome email, log into your account. Click on Apothecary to see all of the available inventory. Choose your products, pay for your order, and track your package. Remember, delivery times vary by location.